A faster SSD means quicker file transfers and game texture loading, while a larger one allows you to keep all your gameplay highlights without deleting them to make space for new games. A reliable SSD for gaming makes it much easier to use your PC every day, from loading windows quickly to loading massive open-world games in a few seconds. Hello guys, in today's video, we're looking at the 5 best SSD for gaming of 2023. And if you want more information, we also put the links in the description box down below. Thanks. Starting our list with number 5, we've got the Seagate FireCuda 530. Seagate may have taken a while to get into the solid-state game, and especially the PCIe 4.0 market, but it has arrived with a bang with the FireCuda 530. Coming with or without the heatsink, the latest Seagate drive is a stunner. The sequential read and write speeds are great, but compared to other drives, what makes this one stand out is how long it lasts. When it comes to endurance, the 2TB drive we have has a rating of 2,550 TBW, which has never been done before. This is something you won't see on any other drive except for an SSD made for Chia mining. The sequential read and write speeds of the 2TB FireCuda 530 are rated at 7,300 and 6,900 MBS, respectively. This is very fast for a PCIe 4.0x4 interface. Users who are interested in other capacities will find that the 4TB drive has the same rating, while the 1TB and 500GB drives are rated just a bit lower. It uses a FireCuda 5018E18 controller and brand new Micron 176-layer TLC NAND memory. This is the same memory that Crucial uses in its new P5 Plus drives, which works very well. Micron says that its 176L TLC NAND is the best in the industry because its die size is 30% smaller and its read and write latency is 35% better than its 96L NAND from the previous generation. And in terms of performance, the FireCuda 530 either matches or beats the big boys of storage, and the Seagate 530 is at least as good as any consumer SSD on the market thanks to its leading sequential performance and endurance rating. Overall, the best version is the 2TB version. It gives you the best straight-line speed and an amazing level of endurance. The version with the beautiful heatsink costs a little more, but if your motherboard doesn't have SSD cooling built in, it's worth going for. Next up at number 4, we've got the Silicon Power XS70. Silicon Power is a brand that probably doesn't get much attention compared to the likes of Samsung or WD, but when you look at its XS70 NVMe SSD with its high-end specifications, it's clear that the brand name isn't everything. Armed with the latest FireCuda controller and high-performance NAND flash memory, a drive like the Silicon Power XS70 should have no problem competing with the best SSD on the market. The XS70 is priced well for a high-performance 2TB SSD, but there's fierce competition from other third-party SSD makers in this price range. The Silicon Power XS70 2TB SSD is a 2280 M.2 PCIe NVMe drive. It combines Micron 176-layer TLC NAND with a FireCuda 5018E18 controller and 2 GB of DDR4 RAM. Features rated sequential read and write speeds of 7,300 and 6,800 MBS respectively. That combination is common to many of the best SSD, including the highly regarded Seagate FireCuda 530. The XS70 is designed with PS5 compatibility in mind, so the heatsink isn't as bulky as some others you might come across. It really does look good. Admittedly, I'm talking about an SSD here, and it's not the kind of thing we'll spend time looking at, but Silicon Power's designers deserve credit. The Silicon Power XS70 isn't revolutionary, but then nobody expects it to be. It's a highly competitive SSD with great performance, an attractive design, and it offers good value for money. It's not perfect, it lacks its own software and hardware encryption, but for a PS5 or PC gamer, that won't matter. The excellent all-around performance on offer from the XS70 makes it a very compelling option, and it's easily worth considering it. It's price competitive at the time you look to make your purchase. At number 3, we got the Samsung 980 Pro. The Samsung 980 Pro is a $230 for 1TB high-performance SSD that uses the latest PCIe technology that fits into most modern gaming PC and consoles. It delivers read and write speeds up to 7,000 and 5,000 MBS respectively. For a little less than double the price, you can upgrade to 2TB. Depending on the number of applications, programs, or games you want to run at lightning speed, getting the extra storage space might be worth it. The Samsung 980 Pro uses PCIe Gen 4 technology designed for hardcore and competitive gamers that want more and faster bandwidth while gaming. It's also ideal to run any demanding application that's heavy on graphics. To provide stable and consistent performance, as well as longevity, the 980 Pro offers reliable thermal control using a nickel coating that effectively dissipates heat. The drive is designed to last, as it has an impressive terabyte written rating of 300 terabytes written at 500 gigabytes storage up to 1,200 terabytes written at 2 terabytes storage. The 980 Pro is also fully compatible with PS5 and PCIe 3.0 rigs as well. However, installing the drive in a 3.0 slot will limit the speeds. It'll still be over 3,000 megabytes per second. You can also install Samsung Magician to update firmware and further optimize the drive's performance and monitor its health. Overall, this premium gaming SSD is great for competitive gamers who run heavy-duty applications and games. Next up at number 2, we've got the SK Hynix Platinum P41. Of course, SK Hynix isn't new to this space, but the new P41 is arguably the brand's first tilt at a truly high-end M.2 drive. The old SK Hynix Gold P31 was a bit of a clunky old thing, limited as it was to the PCIe 3.0 interface and a controller chip with a mere 4 memory channels, and the new Platinum P41's got it all. Well, it's got it all if the context is PCIe 4.0 drives. There is a new generation of PCIe 5.0 drives, but they're a bit over the top for most gamers right now. PCIe Gen 4 is not only where it's at, it's probably also the limit of your PC or laptop's capabilities. The P41 has SK Hynix brand new Gen 4 controller known as Aries. While these things tend to be relatively mysterious black boxes, we do at least know that Aries has a claimed doubling of IOPS performance versus SK Hynix's old Cepheus chip, along with 1/3 faster I/O speeds. Not only that, but it's also a quad-core design that sports 8 memory controllers and allocates 2 GB of DDR4 cache memory for this 2 TB model as well. As for the actual flash memory used, it's SK Hynix's latest and very greatest 176-layer NAND flash memory, which allows for some of the highest write endurance of any M.2 and NVMe form factor drive we've tested. It's about as advanced as TLC memory currently gets, and SK Hynix claims a 40% performance boost over its old 128-layer chips. The net result is sequential read and write specs for this 2 TB model of 7,000 and 6,500 MBs respectively. Overall, the great thing about the SK Hynix drive is that its 1 TB drive is just as quick as the 2 TB version, which means you get the highest performance to write SSD at 1 TB. The WD-SN850X coming up next will generally be cheaper, but if you need the raw SSD performance, the 1 TB P41 is the way to go. The last product on our list is the WD Black SN850X. PCIe Gen 5 is now a thing on both AMD and Intel platforms. But let's be real, your current PC almost certainly doesn't have a PCIe 5.0 M.2 slot either. Therefore, the new WD Black SN850X is something of a last hurrah for Gen 4 SSD, and it's the best one out there right now. The SK Hynix Platinum P41 might just have the edge on performance, but the lead is so negligible that the less expensive SN850X is our pick of the current SSD crop. The unit is fully outfitted with WD trademark armor-style cooling. Because of the new drive's improved thermal profile, WD no longer offers the old SN850's supplementary cooling solution. That's an SN850X only feature. Of course, if your motherboard comes with its own M.2 SSD cooling kit, you may not want to pay extra for a self-cooled SSD. The new X model, like its forebear, can be at both with and without a heatsink, the latter option usually coming in around $30 cheaper. In many regards, this new X model is a dead ringer for the existing SN850. We're talking 4 lanes of PCIe Gen 4 connectivity in the now ubiquitous M.2 2280 form factor. WD reckons that write speeds have been bumped from 7,000 to 7,300 MBs, while reads take a bigger leap from 5,300 to 6,300 MBs. Reduced operating temps are another clear benefit of this new drive. The old SN850 hit at toasty 77 degrees, while the new drive hits just 58 degrees under sustained load. Elsewhere, the gains are less obvious, albeit the SN850 was already a great drive. The 4K random access results are a little disappointing, showing little to no improvement. For most PC applications, that probably doesn't matter. But for small form factor rigs and perhaps a gaming laptop, every little can certainly help. On that note, for most applications, we probably go for the cheaper bare drive rather than this more expensive model with its heat spreader. The revised SN850X is inherently a cooler running thing after all. Overall, the black SN850X is a powerful high-end PCIe 4.0 SSD. Support is good, with the price in questionable game mode 2.0 keep it from being the very best. Thanks for watching, that's all for now, and hope all of you guys enjoy the video. Thanks.